Hello everyone, this is the day 11 of the Integration Hub training. In this day we'll talk about that save as an attachment. So let's say that you are pulling some data from the third party or you're pulling some attachment from third party, how you can save that attachment in your ServiceNow. That thing we're going to discuss in our today's session. Before we talk about these things, I need to talk about few more things. Let's go to the next slide. So far we have completed 10 days session. Let's understand that what are the things we have discussed. The first day we talk about that what is the integration hub and then how you can activate the integration hub. Second day I talk about that how you can create your custom action, and then third day we talk about that connection and credential, how we can create the connection and how you can create the credential. And then day 4 we are able to create or you are able to set up a Jira API payload, and with the help of all these 4 sessions, what we actually achieve, we are able to achieve a integration from ServiceNow to the Jira. So we are able to do a integration from ServiceNow to the Jira. All are custom, and then we are able to create whenever the story is getting created to the ServiceNow, that story is going to be created into the Jira. So we are actually able to do this integration with the help of 4 days. After that, in the day 5, day 6, we talk about the Jira Spoke, out of box Jira Spoke. With the help of out of box Jira Spoke, we actually did the same thing, but we actually did that bi-directional. So from the ServiceNow, we are able to send the data to the Jira, and then from the Jira we are able to send the attached data to the ServiceNow. So we actually able to did the bi-directional integration with that out of box spoke. So these 2 are out of box spokes and these 4 are custom spoke. Now question is that how or why we need the custom spoke. So if you don't know or if you don't have subscription for out of box spokes, you can go through the documentation and you can create your own custom action and utilize that. So that's the reason I told you or I created this section. Now in the day 7 and day 8, we actually did the Zoom spokes, out of box Zoom spokes integration. With the help of that, we are able to actually create the meeting. We are able to put that chat in our channel. Now in the day 9, we actually talk about that multi-part attachment. With the help of that, we are able to send some attachment able to send from ServiceNow to the Jira. Now in the day 9, we actually created the inbound REST. So instead of these all are out of box, we actually build our own inbound REST, and with the help of inbound REST, we are able to receive a data or the information from Jira to the ServiceNow, right? So we are very towards for the custom bi-directional integration from ServiceNow to the Jira. So we are very close. Now in this day, we'll first recap those things, all this together, and see that where we reach ServiceNow to the Jira integration. So actually we are going to build that ServiceNow to the Jira integration. All these are customs from ServiceNow to the Jira bi-directional integration. So we'll able to send the data, we'll able to receive the data. So this is our goal. So we are very close to that. So let's go to the ServiceNow and see where we actually reach with this integration. So we can actually use this out of box, and it's very easy to use that, but we want to build from our custom action so that we can create our own action whenever we need it. So let's go back to the ServiceNow and see that. So this is our ServiceNow. If you go back to the flow designer, under this flow designer, and if I show match with the published one is the Jira issue. This is out of box one. So this is the Jira create Jira issue. So this is our custom one. You can see Jira issue created. So this is our custom one. We created the custom action, and then with the help of that, we are able to send the information like short description and description from the ServiceNow to the Jira. And here, after we receive that, we are actually putting that information to that comments. Instead of that, we actually created 2 fields, if you recall that. So we are going to utilize that. So let's open the story module, and if you see this under the story, we created custom some fields, right? And that fields we are using that for out of box Jira spoke, but we are going to use that custom one. So key, ID and URL, these 3 fields we have created actually. So we'll go to so here we are going to use that or utilize that. So what I'm going to do that, instead of additional comments, I would put that call ID, and then I'll map from this Jira issue created ID, and then one more thing, I'll put the key, and then I'll put here call key, map that, done, activate. So this is our custom action, right? So custom flow and custom action, everything is custom. So this is our let's show match again. This Jira issue update, this probably the out of box one, so we are going to deactivate that. So add comments, this is the out of box, we are going to deactivate that. So we don't need out of box one. So everything we are going to build from the custom. So we'll go here and active true. You can see that the create Jira story is activated right now. Now if we are going to create a story, it should create on under this Jira board also. Let's see that. I'm going to create a story. So let's say that the short description is called Rohit Jira testing, and description is the Jira testing. Okay, and I'm just saving that. Once we save that, the expectation is that it should initiate our flow, and then from the flow it should create a story under Jira. So we already, if you see that, if I refresh that under the backlog, it should be visible the story under backlog. So let's, and if I scroll down, you can see that the Rohit Jira testing, this story has been created. Let's do one thing. Let's move this story to our current sprint. I'll just manually move that to current sprint. So it is added to the current sprint, and I should be able to see that story right now into this Jira board. You can see the Rohit Jira testing is showing right now. Now if I go back to the flow designer, and then if we go to the execution, the first thing, if you see that, so this is created 1 minute ago, and then we have 3 inbound requests. The first 2 are during the creation. You can see these 2 are during the creation, and 1 is after some time, right? So if I open this create story, which initiated and sent a request from ServiceNow to the Jira. Now if I open the second one, so this inbound request is the nothing but we have created for attachment 1, and as we don't have any attachment, it is not going to initiate anything. So what I am going to do that under this Rohit Jira testing, I am going to attach some documents. Okay, so let's say I am going to attach some document here. So once we attach some document, what is the expectation? Expectation is that it again should call our inbound request update. Let's see that. You can see just now it call our inbound request, and if we open that, you can see that if I open the request body, it have a attachment ID, attachment URL, all this, and as per our previous configuration, it's actually create a record under this external tracker table, right? Now this once we attach something, I'm just getting a call, but how do we get the attachment and how do we attach to our story, right? So somebody attached some document here, and that attachment has to be copied and attached to the story. For that, what we are going to do that, I'm going to go through this Jira get attachment API. I search that in the Google, and if I open that issue attachment API Jira, you can see that to get attachment, we should call this to get attachment content. Okay, so we have to use that this endpoint. So this is our endpoint, and if you see the endpoint that we are receiving, so if I open that, so this is the REST / API to attachment then ID. Okay, and here in this case attachment / content / ID. So there is in between, there is a content keyword. So if you pass this endpoint, what it will do, it will get that attachment, and then once we get this attachment, we can save this attachment. Okay, for that, what we have to do, we have to do some custom things. Okay, so as we are building everything from the custom, we have to do some custom thing to save this attachment into our story. So now I'll go to this home screen, and then I'm going to create a new action. So I'll click this action, and then let's say that I'm going to put that name called Jira attachment save. So this might be my action name, and then this application will be global, and then I'm going to submit that. Okay, so this is my action, new action. So let's first create some input. So I'll click that create inputs. First thing first, we have to know that where I'm going to attach that attachment. So I'm going to attach this attachment under this story, right? But how do we know that? First thing is that we need to have the attachment ID. So let's put that attachment ID. So this is my first parameter. And if you see this in a documentation, right? So we have to have that attachment ID. This is the attachment ID. We need to be passed that, and then second parameter is that where I'm going to attach that. So I'm going to attach this under this story. So we'll put that call task number. Okay, and this could be reference field. So I'll put that reference, and then I'll put that rm underscore story for the timing. Okay, and these two are mandatory, and then I am going to create one more variable called attachment name, and this is also mandatory. So these three parameter I'm going to take that. First is the attachment ID, second is the task number, third is the attachment name. Now go back here under this and then go to this under this integration. We have a rest. We'll select that. Here we'll select the Jira custom one. Once we select the Jira custom one, as you know that by default it populate that our host name. Now if I go back here, and if you see that this is my attachment one, attachment details, right? So I'll close that and then paste that as a path. And as you know that I don't need to pass this one, so I'll remove that because this is the host name. And here this is the ID that I need to be passed. And if you see the documentation, after attachment we need to pass this content. So we'll put that content here, called content / we need to put the ID. How do we get the ID? ID will get from input parameter. So we'll select that attachment ID. Okay, so once we get this REST API, this content and attachment ID, I need to save this attachment. So we'll get the content actually, right? Now once we get this attachment, I need to save this attachment to this story. How do you store or how do you save that? To save that, you have an option called save as attachment. You can just click that. We have a attachment file name. How do you get the file name? The file name is nothing but we'll get from this attachment name. And then here we need to be select that attachment file record. We need to be select that attachment or where I'm going to save that. So we'll select the task number one. So once you select the task number, you can see that automatically rm underscore story name is getting populated. Okay, now under this output we need to be pass, or we need to get the attachment ServiceNow sysID. So we'll get that, let's say that ServiceNow attachment ID, and how or from where we will get that, we'll go to the exit mode. We'll get that from I think response body. We'll save that. So let's save this actions first and try to utilize that. So if we go back here, and this is our attachment ID 1008, you can see that. And if we go to this here and then click test, then attachment ID is this one, and then here we need to pass this task number. So let's say that our task called Rohit Jira testing. So this is our story, and then here we need to put that attachment name. So let's say that I'm going to put abc.png at the timing, and then run test. Once we run that, expectation is that it should fetch the attachment from here, and then that attachment should be attached here. So let's go back, click that execution, and you can see this is the sysID, the attachment sysID, and if I refresh that, I think there should be attachment attached to this story. And here it's attached, and if you go back to the notes, you can see it's automatically attached here. So it's successfully attached to our story. What we need actually now, our action is created. Now we need to automate this system because we cannot go to this action and click the test button, right? So we need to do some automation so that it can be automatically picked up, right? For that, I'll go to this our flow, and we have a flow called inbound request issue update, if you recall that. So this we have created. Whenever some attachment is coming, this should be initiated, right? It have a for loop which actually creating the external tracker record. I'll just simply delete that for the time being, and what I'll do, I'll go to this action, and then under this ServiceNow code, if you search it called save something called Jira attachment, I'll open that. So this is our the action that we have created. First thing first, we need to pass this attachment ID. How do we get the attachment ID? We'll get here, and then we are actually doing the for each loop under the attachment. So we'll click here and then go to the for each child and then ID. Now we need to pass this task number, right? How do you get the task number? Because this for each return that our attachment, and this is normally return. If I go to this here, this normally returns what? It normally return that ID of the story, or ID of the Jira story or Jira issue, right? So what we have to do, actually, we have to go here, and then this attachment name, we can get that. We can go to the for each here and then file name, but we need to pass this task story number. That's the important factor. For that, I'll click this plus sign, go to this action, and then I'll do a lookup. Okay, and I'll click the lookup record. How do we look up that? We'll get this Jira ID and we'll query to this story table, and then we'll find out that is there any story is find out with this ID. If yes, we are going to attach there. So this is our requirement. So we'll go back here, we'll search the story called rm_story table. We are going to search that with that ID. So we'll put the condition equal to ID, and ID is, it should be come under trigger, and then request body, we have an issue. Under this issue we'll get the ID. So we'll get that, and once we get this lookup, we'll attach this lookup record here. So we'll click that lookup record and story. So this way we'll get the attachment and then going to be attached to our Jira. So let's activate that and save that and see what is going to be happen. So you can see right now our flow is activated, and in this case right now we have one attachment for Rohit Jira testing which is present under this board. You can see if I am going to attach another attachment, and let's see what is going to be happen. So first I'll just take a screenshot for showing this demo. So I'll just take a screenshot of this one. So this is going to be attach another attachment. Once you attach that, the expectation is that it should call to our flow designer, and it should attach to our story. So first let's refresh that to our service. And here you go, you can see if I go to these notes, it's attached here, it's attached the old attachment, and then this was the present. So it's actually called twice. It did not check that whether this attachment was there or not in ServiceNow. It's actually copy both the attachment and store to the ServiceNow. In our upcoming video, we'll resolve all this issue, and then finally we'll be able to complete our bi-directional integration. Till the timing, thank you very much. Have a great day.